can listen at a later date. Okay, Jyoti, if you want to speak, and it's 8 o'clock, I guess, do we want to wait a few more minutes? Vijay, you may have to turn on your microphone.
My microphone is on.
Very good. That's better.
Okay. Other way. Turn it this way. This way.
Okay, let us start. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Vitejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Good, we are doing this Zoom sessions. I'm happy to actually see you instead of you just seeing me. So I'm really looking forward to it. And this is obviously a trial. We will assess it after 2 weeks and then make any adjustments so that ongoing we have the Zoom technology also being used for our interaction, which is obviously a little bit of a problem with the YouTube. So looking forward to getting this thing all done. And with those words, I turn it over to Raj, who is the host for this meeting. And Raj will talk about what the procedures are. Thank you.
Yeah, you can hear me, right? Yeah, okay. So as I said, we are sharing this document, which gives you the guideline for this self-introduction. And so please state your name and the town and a brief introduction of whether you're retired or working or what kind of activities you're doing and how long you've been studying ABC and what's been most beneficial for you, right? And keep it to 2 to 3 minutes. So I will get started first, just to give you a quick idea. So Meera and I started with ABC in 2010. Most of you know us anyway, but I'm glad to see that a lot of new people also participating in the ABC group. And we are very thankful for Vijayji to get us the fundamental knowledge of Vedanta and get us started on this journey of self-inquiry. And we're fortunate to have met a number of swamis on the way through our Sridhya Center. And that has certainly accelerated our interest in Vedanta studies. So that's basically, we are now intensely focused on the self-inquiry and self-discovery. And we are thoroughly enjoying life because of that. Just a couple of other things that I do for ABC. I'm part of the committee and I also maintain the Harsha Vidya Center website, the Aim for Seva website, and basically send out the newsletters that are composed by Vijayji and some of us. And so that's, you get to see that. And any donations, any questions about donations, things like that can also come through me. Okay. So anyway, that's my brief introduction, and we can get started. So the thing is, once the person that's called is Akshay Dalal, for example, is the first one to go, he should turn on his microphone and then speak. And the next person will be Amit Garg. Okay, so please, this will be hopefully a self-driven sequence so that we don't, we can make it run as efficiently as possible. Okay, if there's a difficulty, then of course we can step in. So myself, Chandra, and Chawla will be coordinating and facilitating these talks.
So Raj, I'm not able to see, this is Ronnie. Hi, good morning. I'm not able to see the entire list, only half the list.
That's okay.
Number
Just we're going
12.
yeah,
Yeah.
we are going alphabetically, and I'll be scrolling down. So no problem. Okay. So yeah, Rani, I don't think you're on this list.
I'm on number 37, so my turn
You're on the
won't come until
second
next
list.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So shall we get started then? So Akshay, please start.
Are you gonna highlight it so that way, we don't miss it? I think you should do that.
Akshay, you need to unmute.
I have unmuted. May I begin?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Akshay Dalal. I live in Burlingame, California. At the present time, living in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Me and Shobha, we both started our journey really at the Arshavidya Center in 2015 under Vijay Kapoorji. But before that, my introduction to Vedanta started back in 2001. That was immediately after the 9/11 courses were starting at the Arshavidya Gurukulam. And the very first course I attended was Brahma Sutra. It was totally above my head, but we have hung on to this. In over the last 15 years, 20 years, we have been making progress for the self-inquiry. In my prior experience has been with Pujya Swami Dayananda Saraswati, Swami Viditatmanandaji, Swami Tattvavedanandaji, and among the parampara of gurus, Swami Paramathanandaji online. And since 2015, Vijay Kapoorji. I would be remissing in not mentioning my own son, Neil, who has been my guru also, and who has taught me a lot for the last 25 years. So with having said that, I'm retired at the present time. I was a retired physician from Boston area, practicing anesthesiology, but that unconsciousness and the consciousness that I dealt with it last for 50 plus years has seen a new chapter of what consciousness is and what unconsciousness is. Having said that, I will pass on to Amit Garg. Thank you, and lots of namaskara to Vijay Kapoorji. Thank you.
So is Amit Garg there?
Mute.
Doesn't look like it.
Mute.
Okay, so then we'll look for Anantan Tandri. You either need to raise your hand or turn on your microphone.
Raj, I think Ananthan was traveling to India,
Okay.
as Prakash had told me. And so I don't know whether he's going to be back, so we'll probably wait for him for next time.
Okay, sounds good. Andrea, I think Andrea is here, right?
Yes, I'm here.
Ah, very good. Please go ahead.
Hi, good morning. So good to see so many of your faces. It's been so long. My name is Andrea Graciosi, and I live in Dublin, California. An intro to my work. I previously worked in finance and accounting, and I took a break to raise my kids. And about a year ago, went back to school to study computer science. And so I've been studying backend and that kind of development. And now just looking to get back into the workforce. So looking for returnships and anyway, and jobs in that sort of field. I've been studying with VJG since around 2013. I was introduced to this beautiful study by Ramanand Patel, and been studying with VJG ever since, and it's been such a blessing. I'm so thankful to you, VJG. Thank you so much. Yeah, and that's about it.
Anjali Deshmukh next, right? Anybody? Anjali there?
I recall, I think Anjali is not going to be here, but she will join in a later session. Yeah, I just got an email from her last night. So I think we can skip her for this turn.
Sounds good. Bharat, Dave? Bharat, didn't I see them? Huh? Yeah, Bharat, you need to unmute yourself.
Kalpana and Bharat is there.
Very
Yeah.
good. Please
Good
go ahead.
morning, everyone. Namaskar, Guruji. My name is Bharat Dave, and I am a retired engineer since last 4 years. I am attending Vijay Kapurji's class since last more than 5-6 years. And I'm living in San Jose, California.
I like gardening.
And I enjoying Guruji's classes and learning as much as I can. That's about it. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay, done.
Yes.
Bimla Kishore.
Yeah.
Bimla Kishore. I don't think we saw them. Okay, we'll go to Chandra.
Hi, my name is Chandra Dulam. I moved to Bay Area, California in 2017, April of 2017. As soon as I moved to Bay Area, a friend of mine took me to Vijayji's class. He was attending Bhagavad-Gita Class, and he and my wife Anandi, we both ended up in Guruji's Bhagavad-Gita Class, and we attended that for a little bit. And then I think it was my previous Janma's Prarabdha that as soon as I entered Guruji's class, I knew I wanted to attend the class, going forward, because that's what I would think I was looking for. And I have attended all the classes since then. Really appreciate the Guruji style of teaching. I understand the concepts really clearly. So, all the, Dakshinamurti, all the texts that Guruji taught so far, I've been catching up on a lot of things that are so many texts out there, been catching up on them. As far as my work is concerned, I work out of San Francisco, out of Merrill Lynch. It's a wealth management company. I'm a wealth management advisor with Merrill. So just definitely like to continue, pursuing my studies, still in the earliest stage of understanding it. I think because I started with Mandukya also, I think I understand the concept, high level concept fairly okay, but there are a lot of gaps that I need to fill in to better understand the concepts. So yeah, thank you Vijayji for doing this. I really appreciate it. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Chandra Rao. Not there. Okay, I guess it's Chawla then.
Hi, my name is Chawla Joshi, and I am a retired high-tech sales marketing. My background was engineering. And I started in 2005 And I started with Mundaka Upanishad. And a few classes now, even more than 2 months. And everything I learned from Vijayji, it was things happening with me and I got the answers. And that made me stick around in the class. Then on, I was extremely fortunate to visit ashram and Pujya Swamiji's. And then every year we gone back to Arshavidya Gurukulam with Vijayji, and also fortunate to assist in a lot of Swamiji's visit in Bay Area. And that also gave us a lot of opportunity to push me into spiritual path. What helped me the most is forming a Atma Vichara group. Actually, we studied with Gita Home Study course by Pujya Swamiji. And currently we are about 9 people total, and very, very studious and very serious in our spiritual growth. And I strongly recommend for new people to form some kind of a group to continue your study and affirm your knowledge. That will help in daily life as well as in your spiritual growth. Thank you, Vijayji, for all your effort, continuous effort towards this teaching. And we are just fortunate to land this group that helps me to grow even further. Thank you. I'm done.
Okay, is Greg Askew there? We see a lot of emails coming from him. We wanted to see what he looks like. Guess I don't see him today. All right, let's go to the next one. Hanuma Singameti. Is she there?
Raj, I think Chandra is
Yeah.
on now. Nagaraja Rao.
Yeah, we are here.
Oh, so is that?
My name is Chandra Rao. Nagaraj Rao is here. And we have been with Vijay Kapoor from day one. And we have taken few trips with him to Sailorsburg, and we enjoyed all that so much. And a year or year and a half before COVID, we stopped coming to the classes because we are not driving that much. Now we live in Fremont, and now we enjoyed all the Upanishads class from Vijay Kapoor, and then and now we are enjoying Brahma Sutra class. So we are very thankful to Vijay Kapoor for giving us.
Hello, Namaskar, Nagaraj Rao here. As Chandra said, that we have been with Sri Vijay Kapoor from the beginning. We learned all the Upanishads, almost all of them, important Upanishads. And then only recently we have stopped coming. As she said, otherwise we are listening to the programs regularly on Saturday mornings. And then we'll continue to do as much as we can, and hope to, I'm glad to see all of you. Thank you. We are done.
Okay, thank you. We said Hanuma is not there either. Is that correct? Okay, if that's the case, then Ila Joshi, I believe I saw her. Yes, she's there.
I'm here. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Hi, good morning. My name is Ila Joshi, and I live in San Jose. I've been here since 1980. I started attending Vijayji's classes back in 2008, started with the Gita classes, And then I've been attending all the other Upanishad classes that we had ever since. So I've been attending it for almost 14 years now. I really enjoy attending the classes, look forward to going to the classes on Saturdays and Tuesdays. And then I'm also part of a Gita study group, which with Raj and Meera on Thursdays. And I really, really enjoy it. I'm learning a lot from these classes about myself, my connection with God, and my purpose in life and what I'm supposed to be doing here. I used to be a financial analyst and I worked in that company for almost 30 years, but now I'm currently retired. And my new job is as a grandma, helping with my daughter with the children. But apart from that, I really, really enjoy the classes and look forward to it. And I'm learning a lot. And I thank Vijayji for all his hard work for every class. Thank you so much.
So then we have Irene next. Irene here. Don't see her. So I don't believe there's Jugal Kishore here either. Is that correct? Yeah, I don't see it. Thank you. Then Jyoti Shekhar. Jyoti Shekhar.
Namaste.
Okay, very good.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Namaste, everybody. My name is Jyoti Shekhar and I work in the software industry. I live in Milpitas. And about myself, I've been spiritually inclined as long as I know. But it finally accelerated into some action when I joined Gajananamji's yoga classes in 2014 and attended his Vedanta classes. And that led me to look for Vedanta classes in my area near my house. And I fortunately found Vijayji's classes in Jain Temple, joined in 2016. I wasn't very regular for a while because of work issues, but fortunately, he has been very kind enough to accommodate me and take me as a student still. And I'm very greatly thankful to that. And I've been influenced by his kind nature, humble nature, and dedication to the absolute truth. I'm also a practicing Kriya Yogi. I got my initiation by my guru, Sri M. And I'm looking forward to continuing this journey with Vijayji and all of you. Thank you very much.
Kalpana Dave, I think, is here.
Hi, yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Yeah, I'm Kalpana Dave. I live in San Jose, California. I'm a retired engineer. I have been taking Vijayji's classes for almost over 10 plus years. I really enjoyed them. I really appreciate his commitment and dedication to teach us all his hard work. I have learned a lot from these classes. Actually, a lot of positive changes in my everyday life, how to deal with family and all that is because of Vijayji. So I'm very thankful to him. Besides that, I have joined the Atmavichara group that Chawla mentioned. That is helping us a lot. We are listening to Swami Paramarthananda ji from Chennai regularly, studying, doing homework, all that helps. So I would also recommend forming a group like that to have further deep studies. That's about it. Before I joined the classes, I was involved with a group called Swadhyaya organization by Sri Panduram Shastri Athavale, where I studied Gita a lot. So all this is helping me with my spiritual growth, and I'm really thankful to Vijayji for continuing these classes. I'm done.
Thank you. Kalyan Raman?
I'm here.
Very good. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Namaskar, Guruji. Good to address with you. My name is Kalyan Raman. I am a management consultant by profession. I'm based in Dublin, California. I've been studying Vedanta classes on the subject since 1990 or slightly earlier than that. But I think the richness and the depth that I got from this class was really enjoyable. The best or my favorite text that I'd ever read for me was the Mandukya Upanishad. I memorized it, fell in love with it, and then I saw this poster in our local temple that someone was teaching the class. So I thought, let me go and hear one or two classes and see what they say. And I've been hooked since then. And I think I attended pretty much every one of these classes for a couple of years, and now in the Brahma Sutra class. I just wanted to say, apart from the depth of this class and the liking that I have for Guruji's scholarship that brings together so many different points of view, I'm reading in another class the Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, and also the Bhagavad-Gita.
Okay, thank you. Kirsten?
Kirsten lives in Italy. She's, I don't know whether she would be, oh, there she is.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
here.
Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't want to miss that. So, hello, everybody. My name is Kerstin. So, I live in Italy, as Vijay said, and I am actually a student of Ramanand, long-time student. I think I started studying yoga with him before, like in 97, 98. And it was also Ramanand who introduced me to Advaita Vedanta, to Vijay at his home. We listened to, or we watched one session about 3 years ago. And so I could say I got really hooked on Advaita Vedanta. There's really not a day that I don't listen to something or read or study. And I'm very, very grateful for having the possibility to access this. You can't say even knowledge, because it's the possibility, to learn and to study Advaita Vedanta with people like Vijay, and I also listen a lot to Swami Tattvavidananda. So yeah, I'm really grateful for that, and that's basically it. Thank you.
Okay.
Next is me.
Very good. Please.
My name is H.K. Narayan. When I came to this country about 50 plus years ago, I flipped my initials from HK to KH, K being the short form of my father, Krishna Swami. So I made it Chris. So I'm known as Chris Narayan in few circles, HK Narayan in some circles, and HK in some circles, and in some circles, hey, you, that's in some circles, I live in Fremont. I'm retired. I worked with Bechtel and GE in the nuclear engineering group for over 35 years, building the nuclear power plant all over the world. I've been learning many Vedantic texts like Dakshinamurti Stotram, Kathopanishad, Taittiriya, Mandukya, etc. under the guidance of Sri Vijay Kapoorji for the last 8 to 10 years. I'm so thankful and grateful to him. And, my pranams to you, Guruji. I got so much to learn. I got so much of backlog. I keep putting more and more, and that more than I can chew. Sometimes I wonder, what should I do? I've been asking this question to you, and you told me, yeah, keep doing it. So hopefully one of these days, I I consolidate all my learning. Let's see how it goes. Thank you very much. Done.
Thank you. Krishna Biru, is he here today?
I haven't seen him.
Okay. Kuldeep.
Yeah, I'm here.
Very good. Go ahead.
My camera working?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Right. So my name is Kuldeep. I live in Fremont, and I've done head of IT roles at different companies, and that's my profession. And I've been, I forgot to say Namaste Guruji and Namaste all. So I've been studying with Shri Vijay Kapoor for last 10 years, and definitely grateful for him teaching, as well as kind of having this whole center here, because it's all because of him that all of us are here, and we have been going through this journey together. So I'm very grateful to Shri Vijay Kapoor Guruji to really set this up, and having these classes week in, week out, right? Like I've been doing this for 10 years, and these classes keep going on like forever, and on time and everything. I'm not that punctual, but Guruji is, and everything starts on time and happens on time. So really grateful for that. In terms of the text, I've done a few, but like the main that I really like that influenced me from Shri Vijay Kapoor was around Dakshinamurti Stotram and the Panchdashi. Those were like things that I really enjoyed and imbibed more as compared to others. And in addition to Shri Vijay Kapoor, I think we are all grateful to Swami Dayanand, who brought Guruji to us and so many other gurus to us. And I've been like for last 1 year, like COVID has had its downsides, but the upside has been that had more time to study as the commute was cut out. And I've been trying to study on a regular basis, and I'm feeling better each day. That's all. Thank you very much again, Guruji, and thank you all for this whole community. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Kumar Padmini.
Namaste, Vijayji. Namaste, every one of you who I know, and namaste to those whom I do not know. My name is Kumar Padmini. I shuttle in two places, living in Dublin with my daughter and grandson, and son-in-law, of course, and then have been a resident of San Jose, Evergreen Valley. And I took voluntary retirement from Hewlett-Packard around 2004. So hung up my gloves and said enough is enough, and wanted to pursue as a spiritual researcher. So as a spiritual researcher, my journey started in America with Sri Vijayji as a student since 2004. However, the inspiration that Ishwar Kripa brought me is by attending Swami Chinmayananda's Gita Jnana Yajnas in the evenings and Upanishads in the mornings. And from then on, when I landed and got in touch with Sri Vijay Kapoor, it's just like Sadashiva Samarambham. To me, it was Swami Chinmayananda, and then in the middle came Vijay Kapoor ji, a great guru, who then introduced me to the various gurus of Arshavidya Gurukulam, such as Swami Tattvavidananda, Atmananda. Most of you know that. And currently, since 2004, after retirement and after attending Sri Vijayji's classes, as an inspiration, the way in which Vijayji teaches, the attitude with which, the sankalpa with which he conducts these sessions made me to involve myself in Nishkamya Yajna of sharing basic Vedanta concepts by conducting courses such as Puja Vidhi, Purusha Sukta, Narayana Sukta, Sri Sukta, certain upasanas, and then Vedanta and well-being. These are some courses that I teach, along with introduction, orientation courses on Bhagavad-Gita home study that Vijayji once asked me to take up as an initiative. And currently, it's not a matter of pride, but Ishwar Kripa has enabled me to initiate 7 groups around the Bay Area. And the next group will get started with an orientation course. Midweek next it starts. We have some attendance for that. And I do this through the sponsorship or under the auspices of Livermore Temple and Satyanarayana Swami Devasthanam. And all these, whatever yajna I'm performing, goes to Sri Vijayji, and the attitude with which he just kind of gave it to me. And other than that, I have nothing else to say, but please continue your spiritual research. It is never ending until you are who you think you are, or I am. Namaste, Vijayji. Namaste, everybody. I'm done.
Thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you. Is Kumud Singhal here? I'm not sure that I saw her. Yeah, okay. Lakshmi Kaushik, long term, haven't seen her for a while. Not there either, right? Lichi, yeah, I think Lichi's here. Go ahead, unmute yourself, please. Yeah.
Namaste to everybody. This is Lichi, and I live in Redwood City. I have been retired for maybe, I think, 8 years. So I have the time to do whatever I want. This best year. I think I really enjoy my retirement because I now spend a lot of time looking at the spiritual life to really nice. And I think I start to attend Vijayji's class. I think it's like maybe early 20s. I don't remember. But I remember the first time I went to his class, he was teaching, there was a starting of Tattva Buddha, Tattva Buddha, a little blue book. It was very, very interesting. I actually didn't know Vedanta that well when I started. I just bumped into it, and wow, this is something really opened my eye and my mind. So I stick around for that many years. I really learned a lot from our Guruji, from his personal and from all the discourse from our Swami. And what I learned is that I'm still a student, and I'm still learning. Hopefully someday I could, go beyond that, but maybe not this life. So what I learned from this, all the Apnasa, all the classes I attend, is to like something diminish from me, like something that I don't take look like a huge things. Everything is reduced to like a very minimum, like nothing excites me anymore, and be it a happy occasion or sad, there's no sad occasion for me anymore. I don't know why, and it just, life is so good that, if something happened to me, it doesn't feel that it happened to me. I don't take it seriously. And I am still in the learning process. That's why I go to Vijayji's class, try to see if I could, I know who I am. I know I'm not this body, mind, and everything. And I know everything is projected from me, but my point is I couldn't put two together, so I'm still learning. And hopefully someday I will have a realization, because it's in me. I just need to really know it, really claim my right. I wanted to thank you, our Guruji, for in every twice a week, putting so many hours for us. And I want to thank Raj, Chandra, and Chawla for helping us, organize this. And thank you so much. I will see everybody in the class. Namaste, everybody. Okay, I'm done.
Thank you, Richi.
Nagaraja.
I think Nagaraja did speak already. So we can go on to Nita Muni. Is she there?
Oh, I'm here. My wife,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
My wife Chandra already talked about us, and then we have been with Vijayji from the day one. We were looking at the newspaper that evening, the very first day, and then there was a little announcement there that classes would start in Sanskrit and Upanishads. As soon as we saw that, we thought we had to go. And then we called the number and Shivji himself answered. And then he said, come right now. So we just drove there and then started the class. And they were so happy that we have been there for a long time. And then we have learned most of the Upanishads and some other texts also. So more than that, we are put into regular track that we had to follow, and we are there. Thank you very much for all of you, and then to listening to me. Namaste, Guruji. Namaste. Done.
Okay, thank you very much. Is Nita Muni here?
Yes, yeah, I'm here.
Very good. Please go ahead.
Hello. Namaste, Guruji, and namaste, everybody. My name is Nita Muni, and I live in San Jose. And I'm retired at present. I'm retired physical therapist after working for more than 30 years. I have been introduced to Arsh Vidya Center through one of my friends. And the first time I heard Swami Paramarthananda about 5 years back, and I was completely mesmerized with that. I am involved in the spiritual journey since last 15 to 20 years through Swami Chinmayananda's ashram over here. My son went to Bal Vihar, and I took all those Gita classes through Swamiji. About 4 years back, I got introduced to Guruji, Vijayji. I attended his Gita chapter 7 classes, and I was really so involved with that after that I attended mostly of all of his classes through online since last 2 years. I'm really, really very grateful to Guruji, Vijayji, and I hope that we continue these classes of this on our spiritual journey and get blessings from you. Namaste, Guruji. All, thank you so much. I'm done.
Thank you. Nitin Mohan. Nitin Mohan here? I guess not. Oren.
Namaskar, I'm here.
Very good. There you go. Gajanan. Yeah.
Yes, namaskar. I'm Oren. Most of you know me as Gajanan or Gajananam. I've been attending the classes with Shri Vijay Kapurji since 2013. And this has been a tremendous effect in my life. Before I lived in Fremont, we were in Berkeley, and there I was teaching, other than my computer work that I do, I work at a nonprofit organization, Annual Reviews, a nonprofit publisher. So I'm in their IT department, and longer than doing this, I've been teaching and practicing yoga for many years, since around long time. So I used to live in the Shivananda Yoga Vedanta centers in New York. I was a staff member there, and for many years, serving in the ashram and practicing teaching yoga and meditation. And that seems like a very good preparation, that once I came to these classes, it just gave a much wider vision to what Vedanta is speaking about. So this is, and the way I came to the classes actually is one Swamini that we know from our order. She visited us in Berkeley, and I asked her about, who she thinks is a jnani, and she mentioned Swami Tattvaviranandaji. And then I found that he was giving talks in the South Bay. So I came and I started coming to his talks whenever he came to the Bay Area. And then once we moved to Fremont, I found out about Vijayji's classes. And he was teaching Tattva Bodha then, just starting the class in 2013. So I was very happy to start from the beginning, from the basic texts. And this journey has been wonderful because I've been exposed to Vedanta so much over the years in our ashram, but it wasn't taught in the methodical way like it is. And having come and studied in such a methodical way, and also one of the things that I respect the most in Vijayji's classes, and what I've seen from the other Arshavidya acharyas that have come, there's no other agenda. Almost anywhere you go, there's some other agendas, even if the place is very pure, some other things. But here I see no other agenda other than teaching Shastra and inquiring to the self, nothing else. I see it, and this is a wonderful example. And that's why, so many dedicated students like this, it is really having a profound effect in our lives. And I live here in Fremont, and I teach some yoga classes and also some Vedanta classes the last few years as well, which teaching the Vedanta classes really makes you study what you're teaching a lot more. You have to inquire into it more, you have to answer questions. So this has been also very helpful with my own study. I tell the students that I'm like the TA, teacher's assistant. That's how I think of myself when I teach. And that, and so I can give some guidance from the years I've done, and they seem to be benefiting a lot from it too, thanks to what I've learned so far. So I look forward to continuing this study as long as I can, meaning as long as I'm here in this world, and really getting to the bottom of what the vision of Vedanta is. So again, namaskar to everybody. Good to see you, and namaskar. Thank you to Vijayji for offering these classes. Namaskar.
Okay, great, thank you. Marina Bhuva is here. Please go ahead. You may want to turn on your microphone, please.
My Hari Om and Namaskar to Vijayji and all of you. I'm resident of Fremont for many, many years, and I've been a student of Vedanta for many, many years. I was a Balviha teacher for 10 plus years. But once I had the good fortune of listening to Vijayji, and somehow it just struck a chord. The focus was different, the depth, and the way he taught with examples from his personal life, which we could relate to. I became a fan and a devoted student of Vijayji. But please forgive me, Vijayji, because I haven't been as much as I have liked to, would have loved to attend the classes regularly. I haven't been able to, but I've been listening to your lectures online. So thanks for bringing the Pujya Swamiji's teaching to us via this portal, where we can also avail ourselves of lectures of different Swamijis. And thanks for taking us to Sailors' once. That was an amazing experience. And thanks for inspiring us to start the Gita study course. which I think we had, it took us 5 years to finish. And thereafter, you've been guiding us which text to pursue. And it has helped us tremendously. So just words cannot express our gratitude that we owe you, because it has brought an amazing change in our lives. We have been able, especially now that after we have studied Ashtavakra Gita, it was just a aha and a wow text for us, because it took us from the binary format to the unitary format, but everything is Brahman. So, and we owe this to you, all our progress, we owe it to you, Vijayji. So thank you once again. And other thing is that Vijay is not only, he puts in so much work week after week, but he's an amazing teacher in the sense that he's concerned about our well-being, and through regular emails, he asks about our progress, our well-being, and so he's so accessible to us. And for that also, we thank you a lot, Vijayji. So yeah, thank you once again to all of you, all our Atma Bandhus. Thank you.
Thank you, Lalla. Prakash Nair, I did not see him on the list here. Okay, we can move on to the next one. Punita Pandey. Punita is not here either.
Punita lives in Bangalore.
Okay.
And again, the timing may not be suitable to her. And I'm thinking that perhaps we should have an evening session one of these days to give opportunity for people to have a different time. But I believe that Punita may not be able to join today because she's in India.
Okay, thank you. Raji, next, she's here.
Hariyo, Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Thank you, Vijayji. You came at the right time in my life, like at midlife, when I had a lot of questions, when I was inquiring, when I was a seeker. I just came to make upma in Manju's house, and then it was the Bhagavad-Gita class, and I was numb for a few days, trying to like grasp the crux of it. And Vijayji encouraged me to keep coming to class. I was a very regular student, and I still am. But even with that irregularity, he accommodated me. And I used to come for sometimes few minutes, sometimes between two of my children's classes, and take one nugget of wisdom and like roll it around in my head for the week. But slowly, as if like an ant crawls and the rock dissolves, values started precipitating. And it was Vijayji's encouraging words and a lot of belief. I was like venturing more. That was my experience. I went to a startup like 100 miles north. I did work for Aim for Seva, for all the yearly events. I was working with the ICC for their Sevathon, for Aim for Seva. Then I did a half marathon myself. I could see like these are not things I would normally venture into. These were new things. Somewhere my fears were getting dissolved. That was my perception of it. So this has been happening over like 14 years. At this time, my children were small, they were growing up. And it was as if I was raising another child, a child of Vedanta, like Sachidananda within me. So it just is a very gradual process, but lot of difference in my confidence level, in my level of fears, and like how I deal with the daily situations. That's my thing. Now it is at a point my children are off to college. with Vijayji's blessings, my son just started medical school and my daughter is just going to start undergraduate. But I have this other child with me, like this Sachidananda that has been, Vijayji has helped me raise. And this child now asks me, what are you seeking, Raji? What are you inquiring? Why do you need a sankalpa? And like Vijayji always says, it's praptasya praptihi. And, the cessation of seeking is the point that I am now at. And I always think of this, Omata, 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 Hari Om.
Thank you.
Oh, namaste. My name is Ram Mandalam. I live in Union City. I've been working in the field of biotechnology for over 25 years, specifically in the field of stem cell-based therapeutics. My last 12 years, I've spent time running a company developing treatment for blood cancers. But now I'm taking a different path of working on a new startup now. I have been attending Vijayji's class since 2016. I actually met him for the first time when we had a Shraddhanjali for Pujya Swamiji after a Samadhi here in Fremont, and I think in Milpitas, Jain Temple. And he was teaching Taittiriya Upanishad at that time. Since then, I've been attending his classes regularly. And I find his teachings to be very clear, easy to understand, and with examples that we can relate to as people who have regular stresses of life with work, family, etc. And he keeps reminding us what the ultimate goal of life is. And this is just a path that we have to execute and get to the ultimate goal. And that's what keeps me pursuing these studies and also stay focused in life. So regarding my family, when I was growing up in India, my family was very closely associated with Pujya Swamiji. And I've attended a number of Pujya Swamiji's lectures when I was growing up. In fact, when I was in high school, we spent 2 summers in Sandipani Sadhanalaya, where Pujya Swamiji was teaching 2.5 years course at that time. An interesting tidbit here, actually played cricket with Swami Paramarthanandaji and other Swamis at that time, who were brahmacharis then at the ashram then. And my mother, who's a student of Pujya Swamiji, has been teaching Vedanta classes for the last 45 years now. And so besides attending Vijayji's classes, my mother has been teaching me Bhagavad-Gita class also online. So with that, I'll stop. Thank you.
Okay, Ramanan Patel is here too, somewhere.
Yes, I'm here. Can you see me?
Yes, you can.
So I started my journey in this life some 80 years ago. I was very fortunate to have a father who introduced me to yoga as well as to the Gita philosophy. When I was 12 years old, he wanted to memorize the Bhagavad-Gita. We were in India. And so because I could read the Devanagari script, I would hold the Bhagavad-Gita in my hand and he would start reciting. I don't know if that was his clever way of introducing me to Gita or not, but I started asking questions about why would Krishna recommend this war? And he answered it very, very nicely. But it started my interest in yoga as well as in the philosophy. I met my yoga teacher, Mr. Anger, in 1968. Fortunately, I was able to become a senior teacher in that practice. I still teach yoga, 3 classes every week on Zoom. I met Pujya Swamiji. I went to see my sister in Pennsylvania. She took me to see Pujya Swamiji. And as soon as I entered the class, he stopped teaching and said, yoga teacher aa gaya. The long and the short of that is that I started to teach at the ashram in Pennsylvania every year. I met Pandit Mukesh Desai, and we would do yoga and sound together. Very wonderful workshops. I had a friend then from Germany, Susanne Kammerer. I requested Swamiji to let Susanne help him with his back problem. And he was so impressed with it that we then had the good fortune to hide him from all other Vedanta students somewhere in the world. We would go to different places and I would help him with his yoga practice. But having such a small group, I was exposed to him and I had many good, very, very helpful conversations with Puja Swamiji. And because he liked it, we continued there for, I think, something like 7-8 years we did that. And through him, I met many other Swamijis. Then in 2013, I had met Vijayji earlier, but I started taking Vijayji's class in 2013. It was Tattvabodha that he was teaching. And I'm blessed that I'm so close to a very wonderful teacher. I think that's about it. I'm done.
Thank you. Rani's here. Yes, good. Please go ahead.
Should I go?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, my name is Rani Goel, and I live in Saratoga. I have been studying, I don't know exactly when, but I believe I started in around 2004 with Sanskrit classes. I was talking to Amit Garg, and I mentioned that I had studied Sanskrit during my school years, and I wanted to pick it up again because my ultimate goal was to be able to read Sanskrit in some of our Vedantic literature, Puranas. And he said, oh, you know, Vijayji is starting a Sanskrit class. So I jumped on that opportunity and joined the class. I was actually surprised because my background from a work perspective is I was in marketing at Hewlett-Packard, business objects and SAP for some 35 plus years. And I used to work with Vijayji on the same floor in Hewlett-Packard, and I sort of knew him on a professional level, but not as a Vedantic teacher. So I started with Sanskrit, and I was quite irregular. And thank you so much, Vijayji, for continuing to keep me on your roster, because at that time my job involved a lot of travel around the world, and I literally used to be on an international flight every other week. And I would carry this book, big, thick Sanskrit book with me so that I could do my homework and continue, because with a language, if you miss a few classes, you can kind of get lost. And during my Sanskrit studies, Vijayji had started a Gita. He started a Gita lecture, so I started attending Gita. So that's kind of my introduction. I think it was back around 2005, 2006. Since then, I've continued with several Vedantic texts that have been taught. It's been a wonderful journey. Internally, I feel I have changed, and it has helped me modify a lot of my thinking and my behavior. But I have a long ways to go. And my focus so far for the last 16 plus years has been more on Shravanam. Although Shravanam is a lifetime activity, you listen all the time. I also have started studying some of the Puranic literatures last year. I started with reading Ramayana on my own, Tulsidas Ji's Ramayana on my own, chapai by chapai with the meanings, and found it to be a beautiful text. And since then, I have then started now Srimad Bhagavatam, which is also a beautiful text. It's a very long text. It has some 18,000 shlokas, I think. So it'll take me maybe a few years to get through it. I'm only through the first part of it. But my journey now, my heart now asks me to move into a different direction. So take the learnings, take the studies of Vedanta, but try to implement it in my life. So I'm a householder, I'm a grahast, I have 2 sons, and I have 4 grandchildren, 4 grandsons who all live in Menlo Park, so quite close by. And I'm quite involved in their lives. But now my sankalpa or my goal or my desire is to move away more from vyavharik life, and then develop more of a sant-like quality, develop more of my vritti to withdraw from getting enjoyment from senses, but seek more enjoyment internally, and try to get to a point where I don't have krodh, the five vikaras, that I try to minimize and overcome them. I have now also introduced bhakti in my practice. So I do puja regularly now, and more aspects of bhakti involving that for not only Antakaran Shakti, but also my advancement. And Vijayji, I'll come and talk to you more about that someday. I've also been listening to other swamis, because now there's a lot of content, beautiful content online. And certainly a big part of my journey has been the ability and the capability and the opportunity to listen to many swamis who have Swami Tattvidananda, Swami Vidit Atmananda, and the retreats we used to have. I really look forward to that on a yearly basis. And I hope even during, as sort of COVID comes under control, we will have that chances again to be able to spend some time living with a sannyasi, doing seva, and then being able to spend time with them. And hopefully we will go to Arshvidya Gurukulam sometime and spend a few days there in sannyasi and sant with the sons and the sannyasis in their environment. So that's about all I want to say. And thank you so much, Vijayji, for giving us this opportunity, Guruji, with your selfless teaching and your sankalpa to bring this beautiful knowledge, sort of not bring, but unveil this beautiful knowledge to all of us here in the Bay Area. Thank you. That's all for me.
Thank you. Sanjeev, is he here? Sanjeev, is he here? No, I don't see the name. Satish Jalota.
I'm here.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, this is my name is Satish. I get last name Jalota. I came across Vijayji from his ad in the India West paper, full page ad. Then I right away start attending the classes. That was some later part of 2012. And that was soon after the classes started. Swami Tattva ji visited Beria. And I attended all his 10 or 12 lectures. And those were converted into a CD you can play in your car. I used to travel from Stockton to Santa Clara, which is good 80 miles each way. I used to put that CD into, instead of listening to music on the radio, I used to listen to the CD. I could not stop listening time and again. Several times I just go back and forth till I could understand what it means. It was just not reading a text that put the CD away. That was really evolving thing for me. And then I actually made a copy of that CD and distributed to many of my friends also. Then there is a book was during attending the classes. Actually, somebody said earlier too that my attendance was started with Tattva-bodha, this Tattva-bodha book that was there. So my ignorance was so much that I went on a trip to the Orange County. I took this book with me. My daughter was driving. I read this book all the way down. and come back and next week and told Vijayji, I finished this book. That was so stupidity. You cannot finish it up. No, I realized it. It was so ignorance about this thing was that just go through a novel, that was it. It was like that and in those days. But now this book is, I'm just opening the pages right now, not the whole book. You know, it's so much different. Anyway, having said that, Swami Tattva Vidaji Nanda's classes, as I said earlier, listened to his CDs time and again. That really clarified to me what is materiality and spirituality. Previously, materiality, spirituality were all mixed up. More of materiality, very little of spirituality. But materiality, spirituality started separating from each other. Then I realized that materiality stays in this world only. Materiality belongs to this world only. Materiality dies itself. It's not yours. But spirituality stays with you, it belongs to you, and it is you. It never goes away. Then a lot of revelation came along all this way. Further, in 2016, I visited India and I went to Rishikesh. I did go and met Swamiji's there. It was raining, my leg was hurting, but however, I came out, didn't stay too long there. What I meant to say, my desire to connect with the Arshvidya Center has been continued. Whenever I find some opportunity, I go. They go to India, unless I have to go to Rishikesh. So that's how the things started developing. Other than that, I have been traveling from Stockton, which is about good 75 miles from Santa Clara, since December 2012. I haven't missed, unless there has been auto accident, couple of serious auto accidents, or I have been sickness, or I have been out of the country. Other than that, I haven't missed it, come what may, come what may. It was difficult to, in the beginning, to enter into spirituality, enter into the classes. One has to push oneself to go there. But now the difference is that now I cannot do without it. That's the difference. Previously, I had to push myself to go. You have to get up, go. But now everything is automatic. It's automatic. If I don't listen to Vijay's lectures, Saturday morning lectures, Tuesday night lectures, Tuesday night very next within 48 hours, then Saturday's lectures, next 48 hours, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I feel missing. I have to do that because while attending these live classes, yes, you are there, I'm there, is online. That lot of diversion. I cannot pick up 100% of it, maybe 25, 30, 40%. But repeat, why repeat is very important because you can go to and fro. What sentence you have not understood live, then you can go backward, forward, you understand. That way, in my unfoldment is increasing day by day. I'm not, don't know where I'm there or not, but I'm not there. But actually, it's progress is taking place and has taken place. Really, it's very, very fortunate that I came across Vijay's ad in 2012, and I have been stayed with that. In addition to that, we Jalotas have a Jalotia temple in the Tehsil Nakoda district, Jalandhar, Punjab, India. It was my great grandfather built it, Radha Krishna temple, with all the rituals, all those rituals which existed those days there. And that's the temple where we go and pray. Each time there is exam in the school, we go and pray, then we pass the exam. All the exam we pass, Ishwar's blessing, All the blessings were enshrined in us there. Without their blessing, nothing happens. Really, that temple still stands and will still support it. And revelation about meaning of Radha Krishna or Gita it was buzzword. It was in the books only, Gita book only, just this Gita, that was it. But attending Vijay's classes and about what Gita is, what its teachings are, this is Greek to me, but now becoming clear, very, very clear what Gita teaches. And I can tell other people, teach other people now what it means there. So my life has changed with Vijay attending. I'm a part of his courses there, and there's a connection there between us now. There's a connection. His blessings are with us. His good thoughts are with us. And I always see his smiling face, saintly face, which gives me encouragement there that we got to continue this path here. In addition, I have attended most of the our Swamijis have been coming, Tattva is coming, Vidita Nandaji has been coming, and other gurus have been coming. I haven't missed anything, try to gain as much as possible. Also, I have attended almost most of the retreats, which our group in Beria have been attending. I've attended all those things there. So however, I'm a student, still a student, will remain a student, no doubt. And I want to thank you, Vijayji, for taking me, accepting me as a student. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Satish. I think I would like to invite Jugal Kishore to speak because it's been a while since we met him.
At Gmail. Hari Om.
Kishore, can you hear us? I think you're ready to talk now. Go ahead. Jugal, please continue. We can see you fine. Just say something. Bimla, we can hear you.
Yes.
Please say something.
We cannot find the.
Just speak. Just speak. We are fine. Don't worry. We can hear you. Come in front of the camera a little bit. Come to his, yeah, that side. Come a little bit more. Perfect. Very good. Now both of you can speak.
Yeah.
So
Namaste.
is the sharing allowed?
No. Just speak. Just speak.
Namaskar first.
Oh, Raj.
Go ahead. Say something. Don't worry about doing anything. Just speak.
I think Raj maybe he wants to share his screen. There's something on his screen he wants to share. I don't know.
That may not be possible. So
But we were seeing, we could see Jugal and Bimla.
yeah,
I
you
see
can
them
see
on the
the
video.
picture, but the sharing may not be possible of a document because only the host can share.
We can hear you, Raj. We can hear your voice.
Very good. So please speak. Tell us about yourself and your journey on the Vedanta with Vijayji.
Our journey started in 2010. And unfortunately, right now I have been, I had a stroke and it's just a bunch of problems. Last 7 months, we have been sick like dog, but we had hoped to join you guys today, but it doesn't look like we were destined to join today. Our journey has been through thick and thin from 2010. Ever since we built the school last February, we have been just sick, one thing after another. And if Bimla wants to say something, please go ahead.
Hello,
Raj.
hello everybody. We are unable to see, but I want to share the same thing Juguji said, and we both are very sick, and we are in problem every day.
One problem.
One after another. So we are unable to attend the classes, but we hear after that on our pace. So we understand what's going on. So today we try to attend the class, and we are unable to open this one. We could not see anybody.
Raj, if you can, if there is a message that we are supposed to get from today, if you can kindly please share that with us. At your own time, when things are easy.
Yes.
You're on mute, Raj.
Yes, Jugal, there was no class today per se. We just had this Zoom meeting as a satsang to get to know each other.
We have been struggling with the Zoom meeting since 8 o'clock, but I see frozen picture of Guruji, and that's about it.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so thank you, and we will keep you informed if anything new happens.
Okay.
The classes will resume. Okay. Thank you very much for your input.
Thank you.
Thank you, Raj.
Bye.
Raj, if would we get to see the summary of this meeting?
Yes, the meeting has been recorded, and I will upload it to YouTube.
Okay.
And you can watch it again.
Thank
you. At your leisure.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, so then we'll continue down the line.
So, Raj, just a suggestion, maybe we should now terminate this session.
Okay, time is up.
And because it'll give a time for us to regroup. And I believe either Chala or Chandra will host the second one, which will be starting in 9:45. And we will take it up for the rest of the people that we could not get to next week at the same time. And so perhaps we should just wind it up because it's already past the time.
Chandra is going to join the second group, and I will do the following week for
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Excellent.
Thank you.
So I'm a little confused. Do we hang on or do we come next week?
I think next week.
So Zarina, you can actually tune into the second one if you like, but in terms of the people that would be talking, that will be a separate list.
Oh, I see the second list. Oh, got it.
The second list. But anyone can because we can have up to, I believe, 100 people. And so that will be okay. Everybody is welcome to listen in. But in terms of talking, I think we'll have a separate list. Yes.
So since I'm on this first list, I assume I'm on this first list at the very end. Yes. So then I will be speaking next week at 8 o'clock.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So we will put this rest of the people first, and then the the September 11th morning class, then the list will go on.
Correct. Yes. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much all for joining today. Luckily, we didn't have any other interruptions, unexpected ones. So it worked out fine, right?
By the way, I just wanted to bring one thing, Raj. There were 3-4 people send it a separate text. They had some problem. So I did solve it with that. So I don't know the second session. I cannot attend, but I hope Chandra can handle both or what's going on. I have no idea.
Okay,
but
after this call, perhaps the three of us can meet up, okay, separately on a phone call.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody.
Hari Om, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Hari
you.
Hari
Om.
Om.
And thanks for organizing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Namaskar, Hari Om. Thank you, everybody.
Hari Om.
Thank you.
Namaste. Hari Om.
Thank you, everybody. Namaskar.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hari Om. Very nice.